I played the first 24 hours of Hokko Life and it left me feeling very exhausted. Hokko Life is a cozy sim game and you start as many of these too, creating your own character. But what I noticed at first glance is that the artwork in the game is pretty terrible. My character for some reason ended up looking like a demon child and that wasn't on purpose. Then, when you're introduced into the town where you're going to be living and creating your new life, you encounter the NPCs. These animal NPCs that fill the town are extremely creepy. It's like they merged the idea of Animal Crossing and Five Nights at Freddy's, and that's how you get those creepy as hell animals. I mean, I know they were trying to do something like cute and cozy, but they really felt epically because I'm seriously creeped out by these NPCs. The game begins with a very linear progression. You have to follow what the story, which is not actually a real story, but it's kind of what leads the progression of the game. And I figured this out after a long time of not knowing what to do. Honestly, the lack of freedom when you're starting out kind of bothered me because it doesn't fit this type of game. Usually you're introduced at the beginning of the game to some game mechanics and then you're left to be free to explore and craft and kind of get involved in the game in the way you want to be. But in here it's not like that. You have to do what the game wants you to do. I mean, I was just beginning and at this point I was already very annoyed and I was getting a migraine just from the look alone of this game. The game tries to guide you through interactions with the NPCs who ask you to complete like certain tasks. This is how you're introduced to different mechanics like decoration and world customization. When you start customizing, you can see that the home customization lets you choose between following the grid or placing the objects wherever you want. You can also rotate them 360, which I really enjoyed. I mean, I thought this feature was very well done. The only bad thing was that, as I had mentioned before, you cannot move the camera angle, so sometimes when you're placing objects in the world and they go behind one another, it's kind of weird trying to place them in a certain location because you can't, and they try to like go on top of one another and not like next to one another. Then when it comes to outdoors decorations, you also have to follow this grid, specifically when it comes to planting trees or digging. It's literally obligatory. And also I realized then that the character also follows the grid. This makes actions like digging or planting or fishing kind of uncomfortable because you can only align yourself according to the grid. But I did enjoy that when you plant trees or flowers, if you leave the stump of the tree, they will grow back, so you don't have to keep replanting the same tree. The map in the game starts rather small, which is not that bad because it's divided into sections. So you have the main town section that has the inn and the shop, and there's this separate urban area where the villagers' homes are constructed, that's called the meadows, and then you have the beach. Each of these zones is on its separate own map, which means you have to transition through them through a loading screen, but it's not that bad. The only thing is that there's no apparent map, but since it's so small, you don't actually need a map. Another thing that also starts quite small is the backpack. And well, that's very common for these sort of games because you can mostly upgrade them after some time. But the actual annoying thing is that you have to go to the shop every time you want to sell things. And I mean, this makes me miss the being in your home plot in games like Stardew Valley or Palia. And well, now that we're speaking of things that should be in your home, whenever you want to craft, you need to go to the workshop. And that's like a building near the villagers' homes. It's not a very long walk, but it's still annoying that every time you want to craft something, you have to go there. Crafting seems to be a very important part of the game's progression, so I find it annoying that you always have to go to the same place to do that. Once you make enough progress in the game, you're able to unlock more features, like the real estate agency. That's how you move in your first villager, and I think complete kind of the first portion of this game's progression. They introduce to you that you can build more homes by paying and bringing some materials, and then you can move in more villagers, making your hometown even bigger. After finally achieving the basics in the game, you can unlock other areas in the map, like the mountains and the mines. This was also when I noticed that each location has a fast travel shrine that you can unlock by offering certain items. So it asks you for an item that is one very specific to that location, and another one can be more common and can be found in different locations of the map. I really enjoyed unlocking the mines because you had to go and light up all the areas in the mine because you couldn't see or whatever, but you could actually see. And then you would have to mine these chunks of metals or minerals, and then each day they would reset, so that way you could kind of grind the material. And well, as I unlocked more areas in the map, I did notice that I was gathering more materials, that my backpack kept getting very full, and I actually had no place to put my things because I had unlocked an achievement that would make my backpack bigger, but that wasn't enough. Also, I had to get items for the NPCs, so they would give me tasks to look for items for them or bring items to other NPCs. And that's how I was introduced to the furniture and decor building mechanics of the game. Thank you, Benny, the creepy bunny that actually asked me to build him a chair, and then he broke the chair and then told me to fix it. But yeah, thank you. This is because the furniture building in this game is the best feature. Honestly, if the game was only this, I would be extremely happy. You have to go to the workshop because all the customization is done there, and there's a special station that lets you customize and build furniture and objects. The dog, whose name I don't actually know, sells all the types of blocks you can use to make furniture and decorations, plus also all the material recipes. You can unlock blocks for almost all the types of materials in the game and paint them however you want, so you can create wonderful decorations and objects. When you enter the station, you encounter different types of blueprints that you can create. Some have specific functionalities, like a chair that you can sit on or a bed that you can use to sleep, but also there are more decorative blueprints that don't actually have a specific function. Each blueprint has a measure and a grid of the size limit that you can create for that object, which kind of helps you keep in line with the proportions of the game. Then, when you actually enter the building mode, you are free to add the shapes at your disposal however you want. You can enlarge them, you can rotate them, move them. You can do anything you want. The possibilities become endless as you start unlocking more types of blocks and also different paint colors. It seriously feels like you're 3D modeling, and it's pretty cool. At the beginning, I kind of got the proportions mixed, but that was because I hadn't noticed that you could get an even more specific grid that lets you see the proportion of the object you're building to an NPC sized model. But when I actually started learning these kind of proportions for the buildings, I started creating all types of things. That was also when I noticed that you have to create your own storage units. so you don't have to carry around all your things with you all the time. I was really enjoying this building function in the game, and I had to get more materials to actually get to building more elaborate structures. This led me to explore the map more, and since I hadn't explored the town section of the map very much, I kind of went back to it and started looking around. There I noticed that you can actually board the train in which you arrived at the beginning of the game, and you can go to the city, which is a separate map. This reminded me a bit about Animal Crossing City Folk, but in comparison, this city only has buildings and functionalities that involve community sharing. So you have a place where you can store your designs for furnitures and objects, and you also have a place where you can share them with the Hokko Live community. I thought this was really nice, and it highlights how actually creative and interesting the furniture and decor mechanics of the game are. After finding this fun little section of the game, I went back to explore and get more materials and continue the progression of this game. I noticed that I had been making some good progression, and I was kind of happy with that, but then I just got stuck because there were many achievements that had to do with fishing, and I had no fishing rod. In most of the games that I've played, you would have gotten a tool as important as the fishing rod at the beginning. And in all honesty, since I had gotten already most of the tools or all the tools, and I had been making great progress in the game, I didn't know how the hell I was supposed to get the fishing rod. So when I actually got the fishing rod, I found it to be so incredibly stupid. For some reason, it had to do with an area in the map called the Groves, which in my opinion is not a beginner area, since you have to go through the mountains, which is a separate section from the beginning section, and then you have to build a bridge through a cascade, and then you get to the Groves. Once you arrive, you encounter this kind of nice space of land with a water source and flowers, and there's also trash. I interacted with the trash and placed it all in a specific location since I wasn't able to pick it up at the moment, and then I just left and forgot about it. When I came back, I picked some of it up, but I couldn't pick all of it up because there were like 3 to 4 different types of trash. I mean, I don't understand that, but okay. And then I forgot about it again, and when I actually went back and was able to pick the rest of the trash up, I encountered a bear that gave me a fishing rod. I don't see how this is intuitive to acquire a tool that is so important in the game. It literally makes no sense, or maybe it's just me and I'm just dumb. But seriously, this event kind of triggered me and made me more aware of the achievement system and achievement menu in the game. It had become clear to me that the game mechanics leave little to no freedom for the player, and you actually have to follow these achievement mechanics to get to do anything remotely fun in the game. I know most games have achievements so you keep progressing, but this is different. You have to unlock the achievements to advance in simple things that make the player's life easier, like the mini-map. There is an actual mini-map. You just have to unlock it through the achievements. I mean, who thought of this? Why would you make UI and game mechanics that improve the gaming experience unlockable? But still, because I wanted to progress and I wanted to get more materials so that I could make more advanced structures and furniture, I had to grind for hours to complete achievements so I could get better tools, to get more materials, so I could have actual fun in the game. And Before I even reached the point in the game where I was introduced to furniture building mechanics, I really wanted to quit playing it. Looking back, if I had left, I would have missed out on that functionality, which I've never seen in other games. In truth, the game starts very boring and very linear, which I don't particularly like when I'm playing a cozy sim game, but then it actually gives you the cool part of the game, that is a furniture building, and then it just kind of takes it away because you have to grind for materials to actually do this fun part of the game. I don't know if it's worth it. So those were my 24 hours of Hokko life. I'm not sure if I would play it again. If I'm desperate enough to want to 3D model my own furniture, maybe I would play it again. But with the stress it caused me to actually have to grind to get achievements, to get materials, yeah, I don't know. For now, I will not give this game a score, as I will try to unlock the only area I wasn't able to unlock. There seems to be farming also included in this game, but I never got to it. And then maybe I'll give you my opinion of the overall experience of this game. Let me know in the comments if you have played Hokko Life and what you think of it, or if you wanted to play Hokko Life, maybe this video has changed your mind. I'm not sure. If you like my content, like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified for future videos. Thank you for watching. Bye!